Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Pokemon fans of the world, your boy Corey, aka Crasher, here with a new video, and ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves another competitive guide, this time focusing on Roaring Moon. Taking a look at its typing, it is that of Dragon and Dark, which is really unique and really badass. However, you do have some rather exploitable weaknesses, such as to Fighting, Bug, Ice, Dragon, and a 4x weakness to Fairy. However, you are granted an immunity to Psychic type moves, and on top of that, you have a resistance to Ghost, Fire, Water, Grass, Electric, and Dark. As for its ability, we have ourselves Photosynthesis, which boosts the Pokemon most proficient stat in harsh sunlight, or if the Pokemon is holding booster energy. And to go a little bit further with Photosynthesis, when a Pokemon with Photosynthesis is in harsh sunlight or is holding booster energy, its highest stat, other than HP, is increased by 30% or 50% if speed is the highest stat. Moving on to its stats, it has 105 HP, 139 attack, 71 defense, 55 special attack, 101 special defense, and 119 speed. So what stands out the most here is its 139 attack, followed by an amazing 119 speed, making this Pokemon extremely offensively dangerous in battle, and not to mention as well, 105 HP grants it good overall bulk, so this thing can indeed take hits while setting up offenses and setting up for victory. So now let's move on to some sets you can use for Roaring Moon, and believe me, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to want to miss this. So the first set is going to be a standard setup set with Roaring Moon. The item of choice is going to be Booster Energy, which activates the Photosynthesis or Quark Drive abilities single use. Now, this right here, we have the ability Photosynthesis. You guys already know what's going down. This is what makes Roaring Moon hella insanely broken. As for the moveset, the first move that we have is known as Acrobatics, which is a physical flying type move with base 55 power, which doubles if the user consumes its held item or starts off with no held item. So essentially, it becomes base 110 power, and things go even crazier from here, because with it terrestrializing into a flying type, you're going to gain Stab, which means that this is just going to be ungodly powerful. Moving on to the next move, we have ourselves Dragon Claw, which is a really solid base 80 power physical dragon type move with no additional effects. However, you will get Stab, and it is gonna hurt either way. Moving on, we have ourselves Crunch, which is a respectable base 80 physical dark type move with a 20% chance to lower the target's defense by 1 stage. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves Dragon Dance, which raises the user's attack and speed by 1 stage, and this essentially makes you just so freaking dangerous. It goes beyond description. Like, I can't believe how crazy busted this Pokemon is. As for the EV investment, we have ourselves max attack and max speed with 252 each, and 4 in special defense with a jolly nature. You want to make this thing as naturally fast as possible, get the setup on with Dragon Dance early, and then just proceed to terrestrialize into your flying Terra type, spam Acrobatics, and it's pretty much GG's at that point. Moving on to the next set, we have ourselves an all-out offensive set, and as for the item, it is rather interchangeable. You can go for Choice Scarf if you want to have extra speed, or you can go for Choice Band if you want to have that extra bit of oomph in your attack. However, do be warned that the first move you select until you switch out, you are going to be locked into that move, so do choose wisely. Once again, as for the ability, is going to be Photosynthesis. Moving on to its moveset, the first of which is going to be Dragon Claw. Next is going to be Crunch. You want to have Dragon Claw and Crunch for Stab, Strong Power. Next up, we have ourselves Earthquake, which is a base 100 power physical ground type move, and it's just absolutely amazing that this Pokemon has access to that move. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves U-Turn here, which is a respectable base 70 power, a physical bug type move, which allows you to switch out after making the attack on the opponent. And this right here is where a Choice Scarf can really come in handy. You can lead with this Pokemon, and if the situation is not favorable, then you you can simply U-turn on out and replace your Pokemon with something that is going to be able to better handle the threat that Roaring Moon cannot. As for the EV investment, once again, we're going to go 252 into the attack, 252 into the speed with 4 special defense, and once again, we will be rocking out with a Jolly nature. You definitely want to be as naturally fast as possible. However, I will say that you can run an Adamant nature if you want to have that extra jump in your physical attack while losing out on just a little bit of speed. It really is up to you. Now, another way that you can use Roaring Moon is going to take advantage of its good special defense. So what we have here for the item of choice is known as Assault Vest, which locks you into attacking moves only. However, you get an amazing buff in your special defense, 50%. Let's freaking go. Once again, the ability Photosynthesis, we don't need to go over that again and again. And as for the moveset, you almost always want to run Dragon Claw and Crunch to get that really solid stab. Next up, we have ourselves Iron Head, which is going to be an amazing answer for Fairy-type Pokemon that try to switch in and exploit your 4 times weakness to Fairy-type moves. However, I also want to make a mention that for this set in particular, the Terra-type is going to be Steel, which means that this is going to be the ultimate FU to any Fairy-type Pokemon that try to switch in to take you out. And not to mention as well, when you Terastallize into Steel, you're going to gain Stab off of Iron Head, making it even more deadly to use. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves U-turn, which is great for scouting, great for causing chip damage, and just an absolutely amazing move to use overall. Moving on to the EV spread, once again, we're going to be maxing out the attack and the speed, 252 EVs apiece with 4 in special defense. Now, you are definitely going to want to run a Jolly nature, which decreases your useless base 55 special attack and increases your delicious, delectable, beautifully seasoned base 119 speed. I'm telling you, man, this Pokemon you absolutely cannot go wrong with when you're using it in battle. So let's move on to some other ideas that you can utilize for Roaring Moon in terms of items and moves. So you can run leftovers on Roaring Moon if you're looking to make it more of a defensive type of Pokemon, or a Pokemon that's meant to be bulkier than what you would normally use. Leftovers allows for you to restore 1/16 of your maximum HP at the end of every turn, and on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, this Pokemon gets access to Roost, which heals 50% of your maximum HP. That is absolutely amazing. It allows for Roaring Moon to have potentially more staying power in battle. Next up, we have ourselves a Breaking Swipe. Now, this is if you want to get a little bit more cheeky in battle, where you want to constantly be a nuisance to physical attackers by lowering their attack stat by 1 stage every time Breaking Swipe hits. It is a rather respectable base 60 power. It is a physical dragon type move. We also have ourselves Rock Slide here, so this right here would be a great way to use Roaring Moon in doubles battles, having the 30% chance to flinch your opponents. Ooh, that is so annoying, and also adds a little bit of extra cheekiness. And next up, ladies and gentlemen, you can utilize Tailwind, which for 4 turns, your allies' speed will be doubled. So this is if you want to make Roaring Moon more of a support system for your team. Absolutely delicious. It is amazing. Now, you can also try to take more of a defensive approach when it comes to Roaring Moon, as it does have the potential to be a ratherly decent defensive Pokemon, and it's also going to be adding in the shock factor as well, since your opponents, more likely than not, are not going to be expecting a defensive Roaring Moon. They're mostly going to be expecting Roaring Moon to be all-out offense here, but this is where you can get especially cheeky with your opponents, completely throwing them off guard. Now, you can use one of the healing berries depending on its nature. So a Guave Berry is an item that restores 33% of your maximum HP when you are down to 25% or below, and it's a single-use item. You can also utilize moves like Protect, which will protect you from taking any form of damage in a single turn, provided you are not facing off against something like a Dunsparce, which has a move that that breaks right through Protect, so that is something to keep in mind. We can also utilize the Rest-Sleep Talk combination, so Rest puts you to sleep for 2 turns, however, it fully restores your HP and your status, and while you're asleep, you can use Sleep Talk, and it will choose any move at random, so that way you're not completely a sitting duck. We can also utilize Terra Blast, which is an amazing and completely versatile move, and depending on which offensive stat is higher, it could be a physical attack if your attack stat is higher, or it could be a special attack if your special attack is higher. It starts off as a base 80 normal type move, however, it is based solely on your Terra type. So when you Terrastalize, so as an example, if you Terrastalize into a Steel type Roaring Moon, then Terra Blast becomes a Steel type move, which is absolutely incredible. Now I want to quickly touch on Terra types you can use for Roaring Moon. Given its Dragon Dark typing, a Dragon or Dark Terra type would be great, which further boosts the power of its same type attack bonus moves. You can also use Terra types to make up for move types you don't have access to, so in the case of Roaring Moon, a Poison Terra type could work as a solid answer to Fairy type Pokemon, and while you gain a weakness to Psychic moves, your Dark type moves will be a solid answer to those Psychic Pokemon that try to switch in. A Steel Terra type is also good overall, as it grants you a defensive answer to Fairies and other weaknesses you have. You can also use other Terra types to give power to moves that aren't Stab, but can learn, such as Earthquake, if you run a Ground Terra type. But let me know what you guys think and what Terra types you'd use for Roaring Moon. And ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps up this competitive guide for Roaring Moon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How would you guys run Roaring Moon in a competitive way for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Whatever your guys' feedback and thoughts happen to be, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to hear you guys out in the comments down below. And that's it for the video, ladies and gentlemen, so I want to say thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing, and especially comment your thoughts down below, because I love hearing from you guys. Always have, that will never ever change. So thank you guys again for watching, have yourself a fantastic day or night, depending on your time zone, and I'll see you guys in the next one.